After my rebirth, I took the initiative to place the divorce papers right in front of Ethan. He didn't even bother to look at them, just tossed them aside and said, "I'm not giving you custody of our kid." "I don't want custody," I replied. Ethan glanced up and asked, "Have you finally come to your senses?" "I have," I responded. In my past life, I clung to Ethan for decades because I couldn't bear to leave our son until he grew up. But on Ethan's wedding day, in front of everyone, he declared, "I hope my mom can make my dad and Aunt Mia happy." Aunt Mia had been with Ethan for so many years. It hadn't been easy for her. Liam, 8 years old, was on the ground throwing a tantrum, acting like nothing could change his mind. This scene played out every single day. I insisted he finish his homework before he could play. I didn't let him watch TV for more than half an hour. I only allowed him to eat fried chicken and burgers once a week. I set a bunch of rules for him, hoping he'd develop good habits. But when Mia came into the picture, all those rules became a joke. He accused me, saying, "Aunt Mia never makes me do homework. She just takes me out to play. She doesn't stop me from eating chicken legs either. She says boys need more to grow tall. I don't like you at all. I wish Aunt Mia could be my mom." In my previous life, even though those words hurt, I chose to forgive. I thought he was just too young to understand and that he'd appreciate my efforts when he grew up. I kept pushing him to study, exercise, and eat healthy. As he became an adult, he graduated from a top school, started his own business, and married a great wife. On his wedding day, when the host asked him to thank his parents, he told everyone, "I hope you can make my dad and Aunt Mia happy. Aunt Mia has been with my dad for so many years. It hasn't been easy for her." Mia in the audience cried like a baby. It seemed all the suffering she had gone through over the years was worth it. And I, standing on the stage, felt unnecessary and ridiculous. "Mom, you forced me to do things I didn't want to since I was little. If Aunt Mia hadn't quietly given me warmth and encouragement, I'd have been messed up a long time ago. You and Dad have lost your romantic feelings long ago. Why do you still stick to this position, making everyone unhappy?" I didn't know how I managed to leave Liam's wedding. All I knew was that after leaving the hotel, I got hit by a car for running a red light and then accidentally experienced rebirth. Looking at my mischievous son now, I nodded. "All right, no homework." Liam, lying on the floor, looked surprised. He looked up at me and asked, "Are you serious?" "Of course," I said calmly. "So can I keep watching TV now?" "Not only can you watch TV, but you can also play on the tablet." "Can I eat chips while I play?" Liam asked, pushing his luck. "Do whatever you want." "Why are you being so nice to me all of a sudden?" Liam asked, amazed. I smiled and said nothing. A spoiled, ungrateful child doesn't deserve my sincere treatment. "Are you afraid I'll only like Aunt Mia and not you?" Liam said with a smug look. "In the future, whatever you want, I'll give it to you," I said firmly, including Aunt Mia, whom he liked the most. After fulfilling all of Liam's unreasonable demands, he became even more unruly. The first thing he did when he got home was play on the tablet. He played during meals and even slept holding the tablet. If he stayed up too late playing and couldn't get up, I wouldn't wake him, letting him sleep in. When he woke up and wanted to go to school, he could go. If he didn't want to, I didn't force him. All the snacks he loved, I provided in abundance. The servants couldn't stand it and kindly advised me, "Madam, indulging the young master this way will ruin him." "How could that be?" I said sarcastically. "Forcing him to do things he doesn't like is what will ruin him." But this situation didn't last long. Liam's bad behavior caused problems at school. His homeroom teacher called me, saying Liam was defiant in class and said, "My parents don't care about me, so why should you?" "I'm sorry, I really can't control him. For any issues, please contact my husband," I said and gave the teacher Ethan's number. Then I hung up and continued with my beauty treatment. When I got home after the treatment, I saw Ethan, who rarely came home, in the lobby. He looked extremely displeased, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Sarah, your methods are getting more and more clever. To get me to come back, you even started using our son." I indeed wanted Ethan to come back because calling him was useless. I no longer remembered when our relationship had become so antagonistic. We had been in a free relationship, married by our own choice, shared joys and sorrows, and built a business together. After the company stabilized, I stepped back, choosing to stay at home and take care of the family. I spent too much energy on Liam. By the time I noticed something was wrong with Ethan, he had already become emotionally involved with Mia, a 20-year-old intern at the company. Youthful, vibrant, and delicate. I accidentally saw Ethan's messages with her. Ethan wrote, "You remind me of my wife when she was young. She was as charming and lovely as you. What about now?" Mia asked, adding curious and cute emoji. "She's changed now. Sometimes when we're intimate, it feels a bit nauseating," Ethan replied. I never expected that this was how Ethan saw me. At that time, I made a huge fuss. I felt an unprecedented blow to my self-esteem and insisted on divorcing Ethan. He didn't agree, explaining that he was just joking with the young girl and asked me not to overreact. Our parents also came to persuade me, saying our child was only 2 years old and asking me to let go of this issue for his sake. Ethan also swore he would no longer associate with Mia and immediately fired her to show his loyalty to me. Moreover, at that time Ethan hadn't had a physical relationship with Mia. So in the end, I chose to forgive. I even began to reflect on whether I had indeed focused all my attention on our child, neglecting Ethan and myself. As I tried to change myself, Ethan began a physical affair. When I received photos from Mia of her and Ethan in bed, I was at the hospital caring for Liam, who had a high fever. Liam suddenly had a seizure from the fever. After rushing him to the hospital, I called Ethan. He answered impatiently, "Enough, Sarah. I'm just out for a business function. Stop making excuses to force me to come back." Alone in the hospital with Liam, I received explicit photos from Mia in the middle of the night. She said, "Ethan says you're ugly even after losing weight, not as delicate and lovely as me." At that moment, I realized that a man's infidelity is infidelity, whether it's emotional or physical. I proposed divorce again. Ethan didn't refuse this time but insisted that Liam must stay with him. At that time, Liam was everything to me. I poured all my love into him. He was only 3 years old. My whole world revolved around him. And without me around, he wouldn't sleep even if he cried until dawn. I couldn't bear to leave him. I considered going to court for custody of the child, but having been out of work for years, I couldn't compete with Ethan. Our marriage remained tangled this way. He never gave up on custody, and I persisted in wanting it. As Liam grew up, I seemed to have gotten used to this broken marriage. Sometimes habit is indeed a frightening thing. Even though I hated Ethan's infidelity, I ended up spending more than half of my life with him. Fortunately, heaven gave me a chance at Rebirth. I opened the drawer and calmly handed the divorce agreement to Ethan. When he saw the agreement, he smiled sarcastically. "Sarah, I thought you would come to your senses. You've been quiet for so long, and now you're starting again. What do you want? Isn't the money I give you every month enough?" "Not enough," I replied. "How much do you want?" Ethan asked generously. "Half of the company's assets." "What are you thinking, Sarah? Are you out of your mind?" Ethan exploded in anger. "The company was founded by both of us. It's marital property. I've consulted a lawyer, and half of it rightfully belongs to me." And then Ethan said impatiently, "Unless divorced, this is all marital property." "So isn't that what I'm doing now?" I indicated the divorce agreement. Ethan sneered, dismissing the agreement by tossing it aside. "I won't give you custody of our son. I don't want it anymore." Ethan looked up. "Have you come to your senses?" "I have." Ethan impatiently picked up the divorce agreement again and examined it carefully. Besides the property I was entitled to, I didn't ask for anything extra. I also voluntarily gave custody of Liam to Ethan. Ethan frowned deeply, putting down the agreement. "Sarah, don't regret this. Giving up custody means you can't see our son without my permission." "I know. Once divorced, I won't remarry you, not even for the sake of our son," Ethan threatened. "Sign the papers," I said firmly, not wanting to waste words with him. If I hadn't been unable to see him for so long, the first thing I would have done after my rebirth was to file for divorce. Seeing my resolute attitude, Ethan had no choice but to comply. He signed his name with a flourish. "Sarah, this is all you're doing. If it weren't for you constantly pushing me, I might have let you be Mrs. Lee for a lifetime, considering our son and the years we spent together. But you never learned to appreciate it." "Who cares?" I said indifferently. In the past life, maintaining the marriage with Ethan was never about the title of Mrs. Lee. It was purely a bond of blood. "Pack your things and get out of my house." Ethan threw the signed divorce agreement at me. I had already packed my luggage. I was just waiting for the divorce from Ethan. I turned and went upstairs. Liam had also come back from school with Ethan. The teacher had told him to stay home and reflect for 2 days before returning to school. He had been eavesdropping on my conversation with Ethan from the corner. Seeing me leave, he hurried to catch up. "Are you really getting a divorce from Dad? Are you happy about it?" Liam asked. I said lightly, carrying my luggage, "From now on, no one will control you. You can do whatever you want. Aren't you afraid that after you divorce Dad, no one will want you anymore?" "Who told you that no one will want me?" I asked, amused. "Grandma and Dad both said so," Liam said calmly. "They said you're not worthy of Dad and that after the divorce, no one would want you. You're too scared to divorce Dad." I laughed. I had long seen through what kind of person Ethan was. I didn't expect his mother to be the same. She usually put on a friendly facade, criticizing her son in front of me and saying how hard I had it raising the child behind my back. She simply treated me as a free nanny for her grandson. But it didn't matter anymore. They were all insignificant people now. "As long as you really don't interfere with me or with Dad and Aunt Mia, I'll try to persuade Dad not to divorce you," Liam proposed. "No need." I patted his head and said gently, "Take care of yourself from now on." Because from now on, his growth has nothing to do with me. I left, dragging 2 large suitcases, not looking back. I moved into a furnished apartment I had found in advance near a university. I was preparing for the postgraduate entrance exam to further my education. Ethan and I were college classmates. To accompany him in starting his business, I gave up the opportunity for further study. Later, after the business succeeded and we had a son, I shifted my focus to family. I had always regretted not being able to pursue a master's or a doctorate. In this new life, I deeply realized that one must live for oneself. No one will empathize with you. The day after moving out of Ethan's villa, I saw that Mia had posted on social media. It was she who had added me first at the company's anniversary party I attended with Ethan. Mia commented on my earrings, and we exchanged WeChat. She asked for the link later. Mia got a pair of earrings just like mine, but they weren't bought by her. They were a gift from Ethan. Today, her post was, "Poverty limited my imagination," with a photo of the villa's backyard. The purpose was, of course, to announce to the world that she was now officially with Ethan and no longer the shameful mistress. I gave them a thumbs up in response, with a dog. May it last forever. Just after I gave the thumbs up, Mia messaged me. "Sister Sarah, you wouldn't mind me posting on social media, would you?" Ethan insisted I post it, saying it was to make up for the grievances I'd suffered over the years. To provoke me, Mia would occasionally send intimate photos of herself with Ethan or write about how much Ethan loved her. Then she would delete them at the right time, adding a note, "Sorry, posted by mistake." I had once been so enraged by her antics that I lost my mind and had loud arguments with Ethan. The end result was that my relationship with Ethan deteriorated further. He almost never came back, even on Liam's birthday. He took Liam to celebrate with Mia every time. Every time Liam went to Mia's place, Ethan would say, "Aunt Mia is so good to me. She's both gentle and beautiful. I want her to be my mom." Looking back, I don't know how I endured it in the past life. Luckily, the hurt was deep, so there was no lingering attachment. I replied with a smile, "Why would I mind? Didn't I just give you a thumbs up? You did it to show Ethan, didn't you?" Mia believed that my divorce from Ethan was just out of spite. I didn't want to waste any more time on such people. I was about to block Mia when she sent another message. You left something behind. That was impossible. I checked every day, ensuring I didn't leave anything behind. Mia then sent a photo. It was a box of condoms. I replied generously, I'm giving them to you. They're expired. Mia sent a mocking emoji and added, they weren't used up from years ago. Ethan uses several of them every day at my place. We can't buy them fast enough. That's perfect, then. I don't want the trash. And if you like recycling, it's a way to utilize waste, I responded calmly. Who are you calling trash? Mia was instantly enraged. As she was typing furiously, I blocked her immediately. Out of sight, out of mind. After blocking Mia, my social media feed was noticeably cleaner. Without outside disturbances, I devoted myself fully to preparing for my exams. Until 1 month later, when I suddenly received a call from Ethan. He started with, Sarah, where have you been hiding? If you don't want the divorce, why are you pretending? It's too late now. I then remembered that today was the last day of the cooling off period for the divorce, and I had to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get the divorce certificate. I'll be at the Civil Affairs Bureau soon. Hanging up the phone, I didn't delay for a second and drove straight to the Civil Affairs Bureau. When Ethan saw me, he had a sarcastic smile on his face. Previously, when we went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to register for the divorce, we had agreed to meet at 10 o'clock in the morning. Now it was already noon, and the Civil Affairs Bureau staff had left for the day. Ethan contemptuously said, Sarah, when you made me sign the divorce agreement, I told you it would be useless to regret it later. No matter what tricks you try today, the divorce has to happen. Fine, I agreed promptly. I should thank you. If you hadn't taken the initiative to step aside, I wouldn't have known how well Mia takes care of children at such a young age. When you took care of our son, it was chaotic at home. But since Mia came, our son has been very well behaved. Ethan boasted. Congratulations on marrying a capable partner, I replied, still being stubborn. Ethan said disdainfully, let's see how long you can hold out. At the moment, I received the divorce certificate. I let out a huge sigh of relief. I was afraid that if I delayed, Ethan would lose patience and walk away, and I really didn't want to waste any more time with him. Sarah, Ethan called out loudly from behind as I was walking away quickly. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. If you regret it. I drove away, unable to bear hearing another word from Ethan. After regaining my freedom, I was even more motivated to study every day. In addition to studying hard, I also made sure to exercise regularly. I couldn't let myself be plagued with health problems like in my past life. After months of relentless effort, I finally succeeded. During this time, Liam called me hesitantly. He asked, Mom, do you miss me? I honestly answered, no, because Mom is very busy. Today is my 10th birthday, he seemed a bit disappointed. Happy birthday, I said with a smile. Don't you want to spend my birthday with me? Dad said that without his permission, I can't see you alone. Sarah, I won't give you another chance, came Ethan's cold voice from the other end. Huh? I was confused. Had he gone mad? Mia is pregnant with my child, and I'm going to marry her, he said proudly. Congratulations, I responded politely, despite being annoyed at being woken up in the middle of the night. Ethan seemed to scoff and then hung up on me. I didn't think much of it. If it weren't for receiving Ethan and Mia's wedding invitation, I would have suspected they sent it by mistake. But the invitation had my name on it. Of course, just because they invited me didn't mean I had to go. I threw the invitation straight into the trash. Later that day, Liam called me. Mom, why aren't you here yet? Here where? I didn't immediately understand. Here where? At Dad and Aunt Mia's wedding hotel, Liam said. I didn't say I was coming, but Dad sent you an invitation, right? I came early to save a spot for you. Why aren't you coming? Liam's voice was starting to break with tears. I felt no emotional upheaval and said calmly, I have my own matters and can't come. Thank you for saving a spot, but you should give it to someone else. As I was about to hang up, Liam asked, are those matters more important than me? I thought for a moment and answered seriously, yes, they are more important than you. You are no longer important at all. After refusing my son, Ethan called again. Sarah, if you're unhappy about my marriage to Mia, is it meaningful to take it out on our son? I was baffled. What did you just say to our son? He's been crying nonstop. I didn't say anything to him, I explained. Stop making excuses. You can't stand me marrying Mia, so you're taking it out on our son. At this moment, my mother tongue is speechless. Admit it, will you? Ethan said coldly. When I remained silent, it's too late now. It's useless even if you regret it. I wish you and Mia a lifetime of happiness. After hanging up, I blocked Ethan as well. I thought that once Ethan and Mia got married, there would be no more connection between us. But less than a month later, Ethan suddenly appeared at the entrance of a university. At that time, I was leaving the school with my senior after coming out of the laboratory. We were discussing the lab data when suddenly I saw Ethan waiting for me at the gate with Liam. How did he know I was studying here? When Ethan saw me, his gaze was fixed on the person next to me. I felt as if I saw some anger in his eyes, but it might have been an illusion. He said sarcastically, I wondered why you didn't want your son. It turns out you have a new lover. Sarah, does the other party know you were married and have a son? I know. Before I could speak, my senior Andrew responded. I heard her ex-husband is a scumbag. Do you know him? I couldn't help but laugh. Ethan's face turned as dark as thunder. He said coldly, I'm here to see Sarah about something, meaning Andrew should leave. Andrew ignored him and asked me, is there trouble? No, I smiled at him. You go back first. I'll go back by myself later. Call me if you need help. I can call the police for you. Okay. Andrew left, leaving so far away, still so hard to part. Ethan mocked. I withdrew my gaze and looked at him. What do you want? Is there any point in blocking me? Ethan countered. Why keep someone who isn't relevant? I said. Don't you even want your son? I glanced at Liam. Liam looked at me longingly. I smiled and said, he didn't want me, and I respect his choice. I did not want you, Liam hurriedly said. I want to be with you forever. I approached Liam, noting how he had visibly gained weight, and said with a smile, didn't you forget you said you wanted Aunt Mia to be your mom now? She really is your mom now. Shouldn't you be happy? Liam's eyes were red, biting his lip as if he were in pain. Ethan stopped beating around the bush. Mia is pregnant, suffering from pregnancy syndrome, and is easily angered. The doctor said she needs a quiet environment to carry the baby. So during this time, the son will stay with you. But I'm very busy. The workload in the lab is heavy, and I don't have time to take care of him. Also, I need to prepare for my doctoral exams, I said, feeling distressed. Is studying more important than your son? Ethan became enraged. What use is a degree at your age? How much money can you earn? Isn't the property I divided enough for you to use for your life, Sarah? What are you pretending to be? I didn't want to argue with Ethan, but some people really are easily arrogant. I took a deep breath and asked him, Ethan, in all these years together, have I ever done anything wrong to you? Why are you suddenly bringing this up? Ethan said irritably, I've never wronged you. I've been dedicated to you, our son, and our old home. Now we are divorced, and you insisted on having custody. Our son also said he prefers Mia. I've made everyone happy, and now I live my own life. Is there something wrong with that? When did I say you were wrong? Then why question me about my graduate studies? Isn't this a crucial time? Can't you sacrifice a bit for your son? Ethan said as if it were self-evident. Sacrifice? I asked coldly. Why should I be the one to sacrifice? Back then, after we graduated from college, you said you needed me to start a business with you, so I sacrificed my qualifications for graduate school. Later, when the business succeeded and we had a son, you said I should sacrifice my career and return to the family. Then, after we divorced, I also, as you wished, sacrificed custody of our son. The more I spoke, the more amusing it became. Now you have a new family, don't want the son, and still want me to sacrifice myself to fulfill your happiness. Ethan, don't you think you're shameless? When did I say I don't want the son? I said that during Mia's pregnancy, you should temporarily take care of the son. I'll pay double for child support. Ethan seemed to be slightly on edge and became more agitated. What if Mia has postpartum depression, and if she recovers from that and then suffers from neurosis? There are so many illnesses in the world. She can always find one or two that suit her. I said with subtle sarcasm. Mia isn't that kind of person. She treats the son very well, as if he were her own. Ethan said firmly, naturally catching my implied meaning. If that's the case, how could the son affect Mia's pregnancy? Isn't that contradictory? Ethan was left speechless for a moment, silence falling. Liam suddenly asked me in distress, Mom, do you really not want me anymore? He was already 10 years old and could understand many things now. I don't not want you. It's just that since you have Aunt Mia as your new mom, I feel at ease, I said gently to Liam. In the past, to ensure Liam could study well, I always played the role of the bad guy. Now, with no expectations, I absolutely refrained from saying anything harsh. But Liam seemed dissatisfied. He said, Mom, don't smile at me like that. When you smile like that, I feel like you don't love me anymore. I patted Liam's head and said, how could I not love you? I just want you to do things you don't like so you don't ruin yourself when you grow up. All right, Sarah. Ethan, who seemed unwilling to hear more of my sarcasm, probably felt his pride was hurt. After all, he had never been put in a difficult position by me over the years. As he angrily pulled Liam away, he didn't forget to threaten, since you don't care about our son, I won't ask you again. Don't think our son will ever acknowledge you again in the future. I shrugged indifferent. No matter how I treated him, Liam would never acknowledge me as he grew up. Only Aunt Mia. Why should I endure hardships for no reason? I focused on living the life I wanted, even though every day was exhausting. But I was happy and fulfilled. It turns out that treating oneself well really can lead to a good life. Occasionally being disturbed by others wasn't a big deal. Today, after finishing a set of experimental data, I saw several missed calls from unknown numbers on my phone, which I had turned off silent mode for. When I called back, Ethan answered. Sarah, come to the hospital. Our son had an accident and got injured. He's in the hospital. I hesitated for a moment but decided to go to the hospital. After all, Liam is my biological son. Even without feelings, there is still responsibility. As I arrived at the hospital room, I overheard a fierce argument inside. Mia was screaming, Ethan, how long are you going to keep your son here? If you don't send him away, I'll die at his hands, and it'll be a double death. I've already said Liam doesn't dislike you. Why are you fixated on him? He fell down the stairs and broke his bones, and you haven't shown any concern. Ethan's voice was loud as well. So you want to see me fall down the stairs too? If I die, you'll have a reason to reconcile with Sarah, and you three can be a family again. Mia shot back, enough, Mia, stop making a scene here. Liam needs to recover properly. Ethan was losing his patience. Then I'll truly make a scene for you to see. Mia was aggressive. I'm warning you, either you make your son leave, or I'll jump off a building with the baby in my belly. Liam is only 10 years old. Where are you going to send him? Ethan's voice was trembling with anger. I don't care where he goes. I just don't want to see him anymore. Mia was resolute. Otherwise, just wait for a double death. With that, Mia turned and left. As she exited the room, she bumped into me. Mia seemed stunned when she saw me. I saw Mia, who had become a different person. Was this really the delicate, youthful girl from before? With her pregnant belly, she looked like an advanced-age pregnant woman. It had only been 2 years. Sarah, what are you doing here? Mia was like a ticking time bomb, ready to explode at anyone she saw. I heard from Ethan that Liam is in the hospital, so I came to see him. Are you here to see Liam or Ethan? What are you trying to seduce Ethan while I'm pregnant? Is this person insane? It wasn't surprising for her to go crazy at any moment. Although I hadn't seen Mia for the past 2 years, I had common friends with Ethan from our years together. I occasionally heard from friends that Mia had started causing trouble once she found out she was having a son. Whenever there were slightly attractive female employees in Ethan's company, she would accuse them of seducing Hosu and force them to resign. She also wouldn't allow Ethan to go out for social events. If Ethan did go, she would show up at his dinners, causing huge disturbances and making Ethan lose many major projects. They said Ethan was driven nearly insane by Mia. I found it somewhat amusing at the time. How could he be driven crazy? Ethan actually enjoyed Mia. I found it somewhat amusing at the time. How could he be driven crazy? Ethan actually enjoyed Mia's lively spirit. You get out of here! Ethan suddenly stormed out of the hospital room, yelling at Mia, his expression as if he wanted to devour her. Mia, probably never having seen Ethan this fierce, seemed a bit frightened but then straightened her belly, seemingly gaining confidence. She shouted at Ethan, "If you dare to do anything wrong to me, I'll show you what it means to die for you. Also, you better take care of your son, or I'll never be done with you." Mia turned and walked away. Ethan was so angry that his whole body was shaking. I was just standing by as if watching a joke unfold. "Do you think I deserve this?" Ethan suddenly asked me. I wiped the smile off my face. I don't comment on things that don't concern me. I didn't expect that after Mia got pregnant, she would suddenly become a different person. "I'm not interested in your issues with her," I reminded him. "I'm here to see my son." Ethan said nothing more. I walked into Liam's hospital room. He was lying on the bed with red-rimmed eyes, clearly having overheard the argument between his dad and Mia. Seeing me, his eyes lit up instantly, and he called out excitedly, "Mom." I nodded, not very warmly. I just asked about his condition. He said that when he came home from school today and went upstairs, he ran into Mia, who he claimed deliberately pushed him down the stairs. But Mia insisted it was because Liam didn't want her to have another child and was trying to push her down the stairs to kill the baby in her womb. Mia had only pushed Liam down the stairs in self-defense. Liam also said that Mia was very cruel to him. All the kindness she showed him before was just an act. Since she married his dad, she had been secretly hitting and scolding him, even calling him the unwanted child without a mother. She always forced him to eat chicken legs and scolding him, even calling him an unwanted child without a mother. She always forced him to eat chicken legs and hamburgers, saying that was all he deserved. The more Liam spoke, the harder he cried. I listened calmly. I reminded him indifferently, "These things you should discuss with your dad or your grandmother, not me. They don't believe me, only Aunt Mia. They only care about the baby in her belly and don't care about me at all. They don't love me. They despise me. Mom, can I come with you?" Liam clung tightly to me. "I promise I'll be good and not say bad things about you anymore, Mom. I know you love me the most. It was all my fault before. I shouldn't have said those things about you or hated you. I was wrong. Please forgive me." Liam cried endlessly. He was really scared that I wouldn't want him anymore. But the truth is, I really don't want him anymore. I pushed his hand away gently but distantly. "Liam, everyone has to take responsibility for their own choices. When you chose Mia, I had already exited your world. But I regret it. I know I was wrong. If you regret it, you should change yourself, not try to change me," I said calmly, "and my life now will not change for anyone, especially not for you and Ethan." I left Liam's hospital room coldly. Forgiveness is impossible. I never even considered it. "Sarah, when did you become so cold-blooded? Liam is your biological son. Are you really going to ignore him like this? Don't you think you owe him an apology?" Ethan stood at the door questioning me angrily. I stopped and answered Ethan methodically. "First, according to our divorce agreement, I give him child support every month. I have fulfilled my responsibilities as a mother and have not ignored him. Second, Liam is also your biological son, and you have custody of him. You should handle your family matters well and provide Liam with a comfortable living environment. Finally, our marriage fell apart because of your infidelity. You have no right to say I owe Liam an apology. The one who truly owes him an apology is you." Ethan's face turned red with anger. After a long pause, he seemed to gather immense courage and asked, "Sarah, do you want me to apologize to you?" I looked at him in bewilderment. "You're doing this to make me apologize to you, to admit that I regret divorcing you and marrying Mia." "Fine, I admit I was wrong. I shouldn't have been tempted by Mia. I shouldn't have ruined our relationship and marriage because of her. I shouldn't have divorced you." Ethan's regret came across as so arrogant. "I promise once Mia has the baby and the law allows me to divorce her, I'll divorce her immediately and get back together with you." I remained silent. I was truly stunned by Ethan's words. I couldn't believe how thick-skinned someone could be to say something with such entitlement. "I know you've stayed single for the past 2 years," Ethan continued. "You're constantly improving yourself and maintaining such a good figure just to make me see and regret it, right? So you think my current life is for you to see?" I couldn't help but laugh. "Sarah, we're not young anymore. There's no need to go through so many rituals. Just make your point." "I really don't have the patience for this." Ethan seemed uninterested in continuing the conversation. "I still have a large flat available. You and our son can move there for now. Once I divorce Mia, you can move back to the villa." I remained silent. I just watched Ethan smile. "Ethan, what are you laughing at? Are you too happy?" "I'm laughing at how shameless some people can be in this world." "Sarah," Ethan's anger flared. "Don't you really think that being divorced with a 10-year-old child and in your 30s, any man would want you? They just play with you. No man would actually marry a woman like you. Can't men remarry?" I retorted sarcastically. "Can men and women be the same? Men can reform and become priceless. What about women?" Ethan's contempt reached its peak. So this is why Ethan could recklessly cheat during our marriage. Being a man, he really was smug about it. "Don't bother trying. Even if no man wants me for the rest of my life, I won't reconsider you," I refused directly. Before Ethan could speak, I added, "Besides, who says a woman must have a man to live? Why can't I enjoy life alone? I live well on my own. Why should I serve someone? Do I not know how to spend money or enjoy life on my own? Am I missing limbs and need a man?" Ethan's face turned red with anger. I found it increasingly amusing. I laughed and left. I really don't understand how in this day and age Ethan's chauvinism can still be so self-evident. In the past life, I must have been out of my mind to endure him for a lifetime. After my unpleasant encounter with Ethan, he didn't bother me again. I smoothly stayed on campus to continue my PhD studies and kept exploring the academic world I love. At a university reunion, I initially didn't want to go, but I couldn't resist my former best roommate's persistent pleas, especially when they said Ethan wouldn't be there because of his family issues, so I agreed to attend. During the meal, a classmate couldn't resist gossiping. "Did you know Ethan's new wife almost killed him?" They glanced at me and asked, "Sarah, you don't mind us talking about your ex-husband, do you? You've already called him an ex-husband. What's there to mind?" I said with a smile. "Then I'll go ahead," the classmate continued with enthusiasm. "Ethan's new wife is a drama queen. She uses her status to embarrass Ethan publicly, forbidding him to have attractive female employees at his company and causing trouble at his dinner parties. Her actions almost ruined Ethan's company. She even wants to kick Ethan's eldest son out of the house to make room for her own child. But that's not the shocking part." Other classmates were curious and asked what more had happened. The classmate exaggerated. "The most explosive news is that Ethan's new baby isn't even his biological child." "Is that true? Really? How was it discovered?" the classmates asked in a flurry. "They tested the baby's blood type. The baby is type O, and Ethan is AB, so he couldn't possibly father a type O child." Wasn't Ethan furious? Isn't this like being cheated on? Especially since his new wife took advantage of this child to act recklessly. Ethan must have wanted to kill her. The classmate couldn't help but exclaim. Apparently, Ethan almost beat his new wife to death. Now they seem to be going through divorce proceedings, and Ethan is expected to pay a hefty sum as a penalty for the assault. Listening to this, who wouldn't feel a bit of schadenfreude? My roommate, smiling, asked, Doesn't the gossip make the reunion worth it? I nodded. Indeed, it did lift my spirits. However, as the reunion was about to end, no one expected Ethan to show up suddenly. After hearing about him all evening, it was awkward to see him in person. Is it over? Ethan appeared quite composed. Yes, it's over, the class monitor quickly said. Sorry, I arrived late because of some issues. It's fine. Let's plan another gathering next time, the class monitor said straightforwardly. Usually, we might have organized to spend more time with E, but now the event was immediately concluded. Ethan said nothing more. Classmates left one by one. Because I had had a bit to drink and wasn't driving, I stood by the roadside waiting for a cab. I'll give you a ride, Ethan pressed the car window. No need, I declined. Come on, it's on the way. Really, it's not necessary. Ethan had no choice. He stopped the car and walked up to me. Last time it was my fault for not being sincere enough, Ethan suddenly said to me in a subdued tone. I just heard about it. I didn't hide my lack of interest. Is this a moment where you suddenly managed to lower your pride? Could it be that you're suddenly unwanted? Isn't it true that a man's change of heart is worth its weight in gold? Sarah, I admit I was a bit harsh before, but I didn't mean to hurt you. I appreciate your reverse psychology. It only made me find you more disgusting. Ethan's face turned red and pale as I spoke. He said, Sarah, I'm sorry. I really know I was wrong. I swear I'll never do anything to hurt you again. Let's start over. You, me, and our son, a little family of 3. How could he bring himself to say that? It made me feel utterly nauseated. Come home with me, Ethan said, reaching out to pull me. I avoided him perfectly. Ethan looked awkward. Our son is still waiting for us at home. He's been wanting to see you for years and regrets the things he said to you. Actually, it's not just him. I regret it too. So can you forgive us this once? No, I can't forgive you, I shook my head firmly. Why should I forgive you just because you regret it? What about all the suffering I endured? What is the realization I gained over a lifetime worth? I asked him coldly. What lifetime? Ethan seemed confused. I saw no need to explain further and said indifferently, from the moment we divorced, it was over between us. You don't need to waste your time looking for me or use our son to make peace. It's useless. Not only is it useless, but I also find you annoying because you're affecting my life. Are you worried that I won't genuinely change? Ethan asked me. That's not my concern. If I were in your shoes, I would have worries too. Ethan seemed to understand me, saying, I'll show you through my actions. I couldn't be clearer. I will not reconcile with you. You've always been single, haven't you? Ethan was convinced that my single status meant I was waiting for him to change. I was too tired to explain. Ethan was too confident. He just thought that as long as he turned back, I would definitely be waiting for him in place. Let him be. After all, one day he will realize that I have long moved on. He'll find himself unable to catch up or be worthy of me. 6 months later, at a university centennial celebration, all university alumni could come back to attend. The school was bustling with activity. As an outstanding graduate, I stood on the podium in the grand hall. The audience was filled with people, including Ethan. He probably couldn't believe I was standing on such a prominent and significant stage. Behind me, the large screen displayed all my achievements in the academic field over the years. These achievements would leave a permanent mark on the school's centennial history corridor. After my speech, the auditorium erupted with thunderous applause. I even heard someone cheer, "Senior, you're amazing." I smiled and bowed as I left. Walking around the campus, many students came to ask for photos and autographs. After finally managing to send off wave after wave of students, I saw Ethan with a much older Liam standing in front of me. Liam excitedly said, "Mom, I just saw your speech in the auditorium. I'm so proud. I heard people around saying you're amazing." I smiled faintly and politely thanked him. Then I turned to leave. "Sarah," Ethan called out to me nervously. I turned to look at him, his eyes still full of astonishment as if he didn't understand when I had changed into someone completely different from the middle-aged woman who used to revolve around him and our son. He sincerely said, "You were really amazing today. I didn't expect you to have such achievements in the academic world. So do you have self-awareness now?" I asked him with a sneer. Ethan's face showed some embarrassment but quickly concealed it. He said, "I didn't want to reconcile just because of your current achievements. I didn't know before," and kept pleading. "I know you've always resented me for betraying you," Ethan said in a panicked tone as if he finally realized that I seemed to be moving further away from him. He excitedly continued, "The truth is, I've always liked you. My feelings for Mia were just novelty and a man's vanity. I never intended to divorce you. My relationship with Mia was just a temporary fling. I felt as if I had heard the greatest joke of this lifetime and the last, but I didn't interrupt him." Ethan, full of regret, said, "The reason I fought for custody of our son back then was to avoid divorcing you because I knew you couldn't bear to part with him. But I didn't expect you to actually give up custody, and I was left with no choice but to agree to the divorce. But after the divorce, I never intended to stay with Mia. I was always waiting for you to come back. I even used protection every time I stayed with Mia. I was always waiting for you to come back. I even used protection every time I slept with Mia. I never intended for her to get pregnant. So I should thank you for your grace, having betrayed me both emotionally and physically, yet still mercifully using protection when you were with someone else. When Mia said she was pregnant, I didn't think much of it. I never doubted that Mia might have cheated on me. I thought the contraception just wasn't effective enough." Ethan's anger was still evident as he spoke. He paused for several seconds before continuing. "When Mia insisted that I give her a formal relationship, I didn't agree. Do you remember that night when I called you? If you had said you didn't want me to marry Mia, I wouldn't have married her. But you didn't say anything. Out of frustration, I agreed to marry her. Even on the day of our wedding, I was still waiting for you to stop it. If you had come, I would have chosen you without a doubt. But you didn't. I had no choice but to marry Mia." Listening to Ethan's so-called love for me, I could only say it was incredibly difficult to assess. He continued in agony. "After marrying Mia, she went wild and made me a laughingstock in the business world. That's when I truly realized how good you were to me and how tolerant you were. I even wished I could divorce Mia immediately and get back with you. But she was pregnant, and the law didn't allow me to divorce her. So I hoped you would wait for me, even tried to use our son to make you change your mind, but you kept rejecting me. Do you know how afraid I was? I was truly terrified of never being able to get you back." Ethan's eyes were red. I found it all incredibly laughable. At least back then, I never felt your fear. He still stood tall and aloof in front of me. Later, Mia had a son, but he wasn't mine. I was furious, yet relieved. I could finally divorce Mia immediately and be with you. Ethan looked at me with hope in his eyes. "Sarah, I'm sorry. I was ridiculously wrong before. From now on, if I do anything to hurt you, I will break my own legs. Liam, I promise I'll be good and never hurt you again." Liam bowed alongside him. I looked at the father and son at their regret, their deep feelings, and their expectations, but I remained unmoved. Seeing my lack of reaction, Ethan spoke again. "Sarah, will you come back to us? Let us make up for the hurt we caused you." "No need." I shook my head. "I've long healed from those wounds. I don't need them. I didn't crave them." "Ethan, don't you think you're no longer worthy of me?" I interrupted him, mocking his self-righteousness. Ethan quickly stated, "Sarah, I love you for who you are, whether it's the old you or the new you, regardless of how exceptional you are. But why should I pick up the pieces when I'm so exceptional now?" I asked him with a smile. I didn't give him any face. His face turned a bit red, perhaps with shame. But he still didn't give up, saying, "Sarah, haven't you always been single? So being single became your reason for believing I would return to you?" I laughed and looked away. Andrew quickly moved to my side, naturally wrapping his arms around me, clearly eager for me to acknowledge him. He greeted Ethan and Liam, ex-husband and big son. Ethan's eyes fixed on Andrew's hand around my waist. Sarah, is it really necessary to find any man just to reject me? It's not just anyone. I knew what Ethan was about to say, but I was done with patience. I said directly, I've been single for so many years because I enjoyed being on my own. Now that I'm no longer single, it's because I found someone great, someone I'm willing to start a new marriage with. I watched Ethan's unaccepting expression and added another blow. So whether I'm single or not, it's irrelevant to you. It's just my choice, and you, in my heart, are just an optional person. After saying this, I embraced Andrew and left. As we were leaving, Andrew suddenly turned and said, Sarah is pregnant with twins. He knew how to strike right at the heart. I didn't look back at Ethan and Liam's expressions. I could only vaguely hear Liam's tearful question. Dad, is Mom really not coming back to us this time? Yes, Ethan's voice was subdued. She really doesn't want us anymore. She hasn't for a long time. It was he who had been deceiving himself all along.